Subject pronouns. Now, I'm just going to let you know, en la clase de español, because we talk about grammar, there's lots of grammatical terms, subject pronouns. That might not mean a whole lot to you in English even, but basically we're talking about subjects, people who are responsible for doing the actions in a verb. Yo soy de Kentucky, or tú eres de Connecticut. Now, subject pronouns are just I, you, he, she, we. That's basically what a subject pronoun is in English. And in Spanish, we're going to look at what they mean. So yo, obviously, is I. So you can put this in your chart that yo simply means like I. I am from Kentucky, por ejemplo. I. That's all that means. Yo. So even in Spanish at the very, very basic level, if I ask you, like, you know, who is from Kentucky or who's from New Jersey, I am or I do, who likes to study in the library, anything like that, you can just say, like, yo, see. But if you're not, you can just say, yo, no. We can use it like that as well. Two, and we talked about this a little bit last week. Two means what? You, right? De donde eres tú? Maybe it was this week, I can't remember. Anyway, we talked about there's two types of you in Spanish. There's tú, that means you, and there's usted, right. And we'll talk about ustedes here in a second. But tú, and that's why I have pictures of like a child, families, and friends, because it's usually, now listen, this varies culturally dramatically. In Spain, they use tú all the time. You rarely hear usted. It's very formal to use usted. However, in Costa Rica, I never heard tú. Ever, ever, ever. They always use usted, even among friends. I have a friend for a very long time from Costa Rica, and she still uses usted with me. So it's very cultural as well. So in Spanish, you just apply that expression, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. If somebody says to you on vacation in Argentina, ¿Cómo está usted? Immediately you know, or ¿De dónde es usted? If you hear usted, then you know you're probably not going to use tú with that person, or maybe in Argentina. Versus, you know, you travel to Spain and they're like, hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás tú? ¿Cómo te llamas tú? You hear tú, and then you're like, okay, we're just going to speak in the tú form. So that's how you navigate and as terms and as to which one you use. But generally speaking, it's very hard to generalize, like, you know, one of the largest languages in the world, the difference between tú and usted. But generally speaking, tú is informal and usted is formal, right? Tú is familiar, something you would use with a friend, maybe talking to a child, or among your family. But en la clase de español, siempre usamos tú, porque somos una familia. So we have usted. Usted is pronounced like that, but it's abbreviated a lot, just UD. That's how I abbreviate it, UD, usted. And notice, and this is, you know, generally speaking, I can, you know, confidently say, if you're in a Spanish-speaking country, talking to a doctor, you'll probably use usted. Or hopefully you don't have to talk to la policía in a Spanish-speaking country, but you would definitely want to use usted with the police in a Spanish-speaking country, because why? You want to demonstrate, like, respect, right? If you're talking to a police officer on vacation in Mexico, you want to use usted as much as possible to demonstrate respect. And then amongst, you know, the elderly, you would want to also maintain that level of respect. So usted is not just formality, but it's also respect, for sure. But you don't have to use usted with me. I mean, I want you to respect me, but you can use tú. Okay, and then we have el. The other day in class, we talked about el. We talked about el, la, los, and las, remember? Those are our definite articles. El libro, right? El lápiz, el país. El, the other day in class, spelt like this, means what? Like el lápiz? The. Muy bien, chicas. It means the. But when we have that little accent mark, it means what? He. Right. And remember in class the other day, I was like, accents only count on tests if they change the meaning of the word. So on the test, if you have to produce a definite article, el, la, los, or las, and you accidentally put an accent mark, it will be wrong. Or if I want you to use he on the test and you forget that little accent mark, they're called tildes on the E on the test, then you will get it wrong because it changes the meaning. This means the, like el país. This means he, el, like el este Tejas, por ejemplo. It's different. We have ella, which means what? She. In general, that double L is like a Y sound in English, ella. But I say like bella, I say beja. I give it a j sound because when I learned Spanish in Costa Rica, that's how they pronounce the double L's. And I let my friend correct me. I was like, gave her the green light. You can correct my Spanish. And then it was just like, you know, waterworks. She was correcting me all the time. And the color in Spanish for yellow, does anybody know? Como se? Amarillo, right. But she would stop me and she'd be like, no, amarillo. And she really, really was hardcore about that je sound. So I obviously adapted that. But you can say it however you want. You can say me llamo or me llamo, or bella or beja, or ella or ella. You will hear me say ella este Jersey. Nosotros, mi esposo y yo. Nosotros means what? ¿Cómo se dice nosotros? We. Muy bien. Excelente. It means we. Notice on your paper it has nosotras. So when do you think you would use nosotras and not nosotros? When it's just a group of girls, like nosotras somos de Nueva Jersey. And then you can also convey the idea of we with, in this case, my husband and I. Like, Felipa y yo, or Javier y yo, to convey exactly who you're talking about. So on the supersite, you might see a person y yo. It's like I plus one would be nosotros, we, just like in English. Now, vosotros isn't on the presentation, but it's on your paper. So I'm going to get back to that. I'm going to go straight to this. So skip vosotros. I'm going to come back to it here in a second. But I went straight to ustedes, okay? So on your paper, well, first of all, we know usted means what? You, okay? So you singular. So ustedes is you plural, which down south we say y'all. Right, exactly. Now, and I bring up that difference in geography and language, south versus the north. In the south we say y'all. In the north they say you all or you guys. Right, exactly. And so that is a perfect example of how there's variation in language based on geography. In Spanish as well, but it's not exactly the same, of course. Ustedes means y'all in Latin America. So in the Caribbean, Mexico, Central America, South America, they say, ¿Cómo están ustedes? I asked you at the beginning of class, I'm like, Buenos dias, ¿Cómo están ustedes? How are y'all? That's what I'm asking you. However, now we're going to go back to vosotros. Vosotros also means y'all. Or you can write you guys, whatever is more meaningful to you. These both mean y'all. Vosotros and ustedes. So I just mentioned, where do they use ustedes? Where is ustedes used? For example, where? Costa Rica, Central America, the Caribbean, Mexico, South America, Latin America. They use ustedes. So where do you think they use vosotros for y'all? Spain. Spain, on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. So vosotros didn't make it over with the conquest of the Americas. They only use vosotros in Spain. So when we're talking about grammar and conjugating verbs, I always include it because it is part of the language, but it's only used really in one country. So you're never really responsible for knowing it on a test, okay? But I always present it because it's part of the language. Okay, so I want to mention one last thing real quick when we're talking about these variances with geography and culture. So we know yo means I, tú means you, and so does usted. Vosotros means y'all, and so does ustedes. Okay, but these aren't the same thing. Vosotros and ustedes isn't formality or culture. That's geography. Spain versus Latin America. Okay, that's a geographical variation. Tu and usted is culture. That's a cultural variation. Okay, so it's important to classify and not just equate that they're the same. Geography, culture. Spain, Latin America, and this tu versus usted has to do with formality, and it varies among culture to culture, okay? And then we have he, she, and I'll get to this on the PowerPoint in a second. Ellas means what? They. It means they, but only when we're referring to women, girls, right, feminine gender. So like, ellas son de Nueva Jersey. No, ellas. That is excluding Maryland and Texas are only guys. I can't include them because A, they're not from New Jersey, and B, they're guys. I'm only referring to girls from New Jersey. ¿Entienden? But if even one chica was from New Jersey in this class, I would have to use ellos, right? Even though we have a girl here, because it's referring to them, they, it still is masculine. The masculine gender overrides. Okay, so we're going to down in terms of singular, plural, first person, third person. Oh, sorry, it was a little out of order on your paper, etc. When we have subject pronouns, and you know this from your English class, even maybe at the college level, we organize our subjects in first person, right? First person, that would be yo and nosotros, speaking in first person. First person singular is yo, I. First person plural is nosotros, we. This is very technical. These are grammatical classifications. But you will hear me say, when we talk about grammar, I'll say, well, I know that it looks like it would be yo, but it's really nosotros because that's first person plural, okay? And when you hear me say first person plural, you need to know I'm referring to nosotros. And then we have second person, right? When we speak in second person, that's you. You singular, you plural. Y'all is you plural. Second person plural. So what do you think el, ella, ellos, ellas is? It's not first person, it's not second person, it's third person, okay? Singular, el, ella, plural, ellos, ellas. ¿Entienden? That's how we navigate with the grammar. First, second, third person, singular, and plural. ¿Entienden? Ok, bueno, vamos a practicar los pronombres de sujetos, ok? So what would you use, how would you refer to Raúl in third person? How would you talk about him? What pronoun would you use? El, muy bien. What about mi esposo y yo, assuming I'm speaking in first person? I can say mi esposo y yo or nosotros, nosotros. Anybody y yo. Mis amigos. What would you use to talk about her? Ella, third person. But what would you use if you were talking to her in second person, face to face? En la corte? Usted, right? Usted, because why? Formality, respect, right? Definitely with the judge. Usted or ella, depending if we're speaking in second person or third person. Are we talking about her or are we talking to her directly? Okay, vamos con Carlitos, mi bebé. That was when he was joven. Tiene 5 años, más o menos. So how would you talk about him in third person? How would you talk about him in third person? El, right? You would say el in third person to say like he is adorable, right? El es muy lindo. But then if you were talking to him directly in second person, what would you use? Tú. You would say, oh, tú eres precioso, Carlitos. Okay, how would you talk about these three dogs? Lola, Shakira, y Amigo. In third person, how would you talk to them? About them, sorry. Ellos, right? Ellos. Ellos son preciosos, ¿no? Sí, señor. Okay, el señor del maestro. So, él es mi jefe, ¿no? El jefe del departamento de los estudios hispanos. How would you talk about him in third person? He is the department chair. How would you use he? ¿Cómo se dice? Él, ¿no? Él es mi jefe. But if you were talking to him, you went to him to tell him how awesome of a teacher I was and that I should get a raise, you would address him with, just kidding, usted. Sarcasmo existe en español también. Usted, ¿por qué? Para demostrar respeto, ¿no? Respeto. Profesoras, Claudia y Devin. Muy buenas profesoras. How would we talk about them? Ellas. Excelente. Muy bien. But if we were speaking to them directly, in second person, yeah, ustedes. And it has nothing to do with respect at all. Even though it seems like it would, because we're talking about usted versus tú. Why would we use ustedes? What's our other option to speak directly to them? Ustedes or vosotros, right? If you address them with vosotros, they would think you were from where? Spain, right, exactly. So this is geography. This is not respect, less formal, nothing like that. It doesn't demonstrate that at all. It's simply yo, second person plural. Okay, ahora vamos a hablar del verbo ser, okay? En clase tenemos de donde es tú. So you can copy eres on your paper. De donde eres tú. And, you know, I didn't even go over, and I do this deliberately, I didn't even go over what it means in English. I gave examples, we all figured it out, and you caught on quickly without talking about what it means in English. But now, because we're talking about grammar, what does this question mean in English? ¿Cómo se dice? Where are you from? Right, exactly. And there's lots of words. We've got you, where, from, are you. But we'll break down the grammar more specifically here in a second. Eres tú. Soy de Kentucky. So when we say yo soy, or just soy, what am I saying? Not you are, but I am. Right. So you'll see in Spanish, real quick, a lot of times, even on the super site, you're not even given yo. It just says soy. Why? Because subject pronouns are not always mandatory. We don't always need yo. We don't always need to. That's why even in the book, it just says soy and como te llamas and de donde eres. They don't even include that too because it's implied. Implied how? Because soy cannot refer to anybody else but I. Okay? So it's not incorrect to say yo soy. Not at all. But it's 100% correct as well to just say soy. You don't need that yo. It's totally up to you if you want to use it. Mi esposo es de Atlanta, Georgia. Mi esposo Phil es de Atlanta, Georgia. So now that you know he's my spouse or my husband, I can replace mi esposo with he. ¿Cómo se dice he? Él es de Atlanta, Georgia. So mi esposo or él. After you know who I'm talking about, then you can say él es. ¿Cómo se dice es in English? Is. And this is a nice one, right? Because it sounds just like English. Es is. Muy fácil. Somos. Nosotros somos de los Estados Unidos. Somos. So we talked about nosotros means what? We. Like mis estudiantes y yo, or nosotros somos de los Estados Unidos. So what do you think somos means? Hold that thought. It doesn't mean from just yet. We are. We are. Somos means we are. So somos de los Estados Unidos. Somos personas. Somos, inteligentes. We are. Somos. Do we have to include nosotros? No, we don't have to include nosotros because it's indicated or implied in our verb conjugation, somos. Is it incorrect to say nosotros somos? No, not at all. De, though, just to clarify, what does de mean? From. De. So Felipa es de Nueva Jersey. Javier es de Maryland. No? También ustedes son de los Estados Unidos, so we can also say ustedes son. What does ustedes mean again? Y'all, right. You plural. Second person plural. Y'all. It's okay. This is all new. Really new. Y'all what? Are. You all are. So ustedes son, that should say de. I forgot the from. De los Estados Unidos. Ustedes son estudiantes. Ustedes son inteligentes. No? Son. You are, y'all are, y'all are. No? Entienden? Are. So ser really means are or am. We are, I am, you are, they are. De donde es él, so es. ¿Cómo se dice es en inglés? Is. So de donde means, what's this question asking? Where is he from? Notice from in English or in Spanish comes at the beginning of the question because really and truly, if you want to get grammatically correct in English, we always say, where is he from? Where are you going to? Who are you writing to? But we all know, technically speaking, that's grammatically incorrect. We're supposed to say, to whom are you writing? And we're supposed to change that. In Spanish, that's why the de comes before donde. So de means from, donde means where, es is, and el is he. And notice, he is the very end of the question. So lots of times our subjects come after the verbs in question. We'll talk about that later on. El es de Colombia. Es means what again? ¿Cómo se dice? Is. Muy bien. So he is what? What is de? From Colombia. No, el es de Colombia. ¿De dónde son ellas? Son. De donde son ellas is simply saying what? Where are, remember son means are, where are, they, and we're referring to women, right? Todas chicas, ellas, from, de donde son ellas? Ellas son de Perú. Ellas son de Perú. ¿Cómo se dice ellas son de Perú en inglés? They are from Perú. Sí, muy bien. They're from Perú. Okay, bueno. Entonces tenemos el verbo ser por el otro lado de su papel, ¿no? And notice here I identified first person, second person, third person, singular, and plural. Soy, eres, es, somos, soy, son. So go ahead and copy them down and then we'll talk about them. Okay, so when we use the verb ser, what forms, what's an example of a verb form of ser, one of the red conjugations in the chart, where you don't have to use a subject. You don't have to say tú or usted or yo or nosotros. What's an example of one that it's totally optional to include our subject pronoun? What's one form where you like really don't have to say?
Somos.
Somos, perfecto, muy bien. So somos, you don't have to use nosotros with it because why? Can somos refer to anybody else but we? No, absolutely not. So you can say nosotras somos de Nueva Jersey, or you can just say somos de Nueva Jersey. Is there another form up here where you don't have to use the subject? It's implied, it's clear. Carla? Eres, right, exactly. De donde eres. You don't have to say de donde eres tú. You can just say de donde eres, or I can say eres de Charleston, and she's like sí, or eres el nuevo estudiante? Sí. I don't need to use tú. Are there any other ones? What about S? Do you have to use a subject with S? ¿Cómo se? Yes, absolutely. Because why? Is could be anything or anyone. We just know it's one thing, it's singular, but we would definitely need a pronoun, usted, él, ella, la chica, etc. before that to know who we're talking about. And there's one more like that we have to have a subject with. S needs a subject, and Felipa? Son. Also. Son means what again? R. So is and are. We need subjects with those. And then what's up with sois? Vosotros? Where do they use that again only? España. Muy bien, Spain. So you don't even need to have to necessarily learn this. And I think I talked about Quizlet when we were talking about nouns and articles. And Quizlet is another great resource with the verb ser. So you can create flashcards on Quizlet, and you can put yo on one side and I on the other if you want. If you really are just still struggling with what these actually mean, or if you feel good about what they mean, and you can just title your set on Quizlet. Is everybody familiar with Quizlet, by the way? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Lec.1, ser. And then you could put like conjugations. That's what this is called, verb conjugations. Conjugations. And on one side of the flashcard, you're going to write yo and ser. And on the other side, you're going to write soy. And this is good, but you probably would benefit from including yo soy de Connecticut. Okay? Or maybe you could put like Bella es de Nueva Jersey or something like that. For your other examples, you can reflect on where people are from in class today to create your flashcards. And the reason why I recommend writing a sentence there, soy, de, and wherever you're from, is because when you study these conjugations, when you study these verbs, I want you to study them meaningfully. I don't want you to memorize the grammar and just be able to say, soy, eres, somos, soy, son. I want you to be able to apply it to language, express the sentence, convey an idea, which is why including a sentence on there will make it more meaningful for you and will ultimately better prepare you for the test. So if you want, you could go to the Foreign Language Tutoring Lab and ask them to sit down with you and help you make these Quizlet flashcards and make sure your sentences look good on there. Okay, bueno, entonces vamos a practicar el verbo ser. Okay, so we just saw Raul and we identified we needed el. What form of the verb ser would we use here? Un voluntario, Javier? S. L-S. Futbolista. No? L-S. Atleta. L-S. L-S. Guapo. Okay, mi esposo y yo. Otro voluntario. Anastasia. Somos. Muy bien. Somos. Nosotros. Doña Sotomayor. Ella. Juanita. Ella, muy bien, excelente. Ella y el verbo soy, eres, somos, sois, or son.
Soy.
Más o menos, singular, muy bien. But which one matches up with ella? So ella. Close, that's plural. S, muy bien. So ella es. Ella es, muy bien. Carlitos. Carlitos. Sí, repite. Es. Carlitos es precioso. ¿No? Lola, Shakira, amigo. ¿Cuál forma del verbo ser? Soy, eres, es, somos, soy, ser, son. Son. Muy bien. Perfecto. Son perros, ¿no? Shakira es un nombre popular para los perros o las perras en lo hispano. Señor del maestro. Soy, eres, es, somos, soy, ser, son. Un voluntario. Javier. Es. El señor del maestro es. Mi jefe. My boss. Mi jefe. ¿No? Las profesoras. Octavio. Son. Muy bien. Plural. No? Ellas son. So as you can see, you use the chart and you first identify singular or plural, and then you figure out first, second, or third person, or you can just get straight to the subject pronoun, which is why we went over those first. Oh, I'd use ellas with these women, so it has to be son. Does that make sense? Because you want to apply that strategy when you do your superside homework. Okay, bueno chicos, no tenemos tiempo para hacer esta actividad, pero como les dije,